Shalom, call all y'all about Show. And it's just a video about the chariots of the Lord, and the chariots of Yahweh, and the vehicles that the angels travel in. When you actually read the scriptures, it breaks down how they travel and how they move around. And that's the main reason why NASA and the U.S. government, they put this branch together and call it the Space Force. Now, the book of Revelation and the book of 2nd Ezra, which I already mentioned before in various videos, mentions how it's going to be a war up in the heavens prior, I should say not prior, after they do all this stuff with war down here on the earth. So once you have a shot show up with the angels, with Michael and all, the other archangels and the other angels up under them, and parts of the elect, as the scripture says, you have, it says the dead and your house shot should rise first. So those who end up coming back on the first go round before the elect down here on the earth get beamed up and changed, as mentioned in the book of Corinthians. It says, in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, you should be changed. They're going to be changed. The reason why, because in order to fly around and travel in these vessels or these ships, you have to have a spiritual body. You have to have an angelic body, a so-called extraterrestrial body. And I'm going to get into that after I read the scripture right here. And I'm just showing this video because the ISS feed from NASA, they've been recording a lot of stuff and then they'll cut the feed. But just so happen, you have a lot of people that record what they actually have on the feed. So even if they cut the feed, somebody already done recorded it anyway. But it's in the book of Psalms, chapter 68, verse 17, to say the chariots of Yahweh are 20,000, even thousands of angels. Not no aliens, not no grays, not no reptilians or whatever other stuff people come up with. It says even thousands of angels. It says the Lord is among them, as in Sinai, Zion, in the holy place. Sinai, so like, and you read about Mount Sinai when Moses went up. That's how the Lord came. He came with a big ship over the Mount Sinai. And I'm gonna go into that. Let me run this back because this picture right here. No, I won't say this picture. This actual video gives a good description of how it look, how these objects look, what color these ships will be. Some of them be different colors. Some of them might be brass. Some might be gold. Some silver. Some might be just pure white. Hey, Yahweh Bashim gave us flavor. You think he ain't gonna have the ultimate flavor? How people like to say the sauce? You don't think the ultimate creator gonna have the most flavor and want to make everything vary? And everything not gonna be the same. All the ships not gonna be the same form, the same color, the same length or width. I'm going to this scripture right here, the book of Zechariah. And I go back to the other one. Let's talk about Mount Sinai. It's in the book of Zechariah, chapter 5, verse 1. And it says, let me go to the actual one. It says, then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying robe. The angel was talking to him, asking what did he see. And you read on the verse 2. It says, he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying robe. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. And that's why these Edomites, man, they scared, man. They got this damn Space Force. Because they plan on fighting. Which had the previous president made a video. If you want to get a chance, you can look it up. Or look at some older videos I did going in on this topic. And it was like if all the nations seen the outside threat from this world, would they come together and fight it? And that's what they're gonna do, man. When they see these angels It ain't gonna be, like I said, ain't gonna be no grays, ain't gonna be no green aliens and none of that shit. They'll welcome that shit. And they see angelic, dark skinned man that's 7 feet and up, wearing gold and linen, flying in these different colored ships. Flying on the outside of these ships, which I'm gonna go into the book of Ezekiel. I mentioned how they fly around these ships. Man, hey, them Edomites, they not welcoming that. They don't even welcome us down here. You think they gonna welcome seeing our brothers come back? They come get us up out of here. So what they gonna do? They gonna be ready to fight. Now, what's in the book of Zechariah, chapter 5, verse 3 says, Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off, as on the side according to it. And everyone that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side according to it. And who did the most stealing and swearing? When you go to court, you got to swear in on the Bible and all that stuff, or swear in on the presidency, or whatever, different stuff like that. You have to go sign these documents, you got to swear in. Who did the most stealing? They still stealing now, stealing oil and shit, resources from different lands, stealing organs, stealing people. That's why you should read the newspaper and you see all these different people go missing. They're getting stole, that's why. Our people get stole from the west coast of Africa and other various locations, but mainly the west coast of Africa, and bought over here in the slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade. So the scripture right here is basically talking about who's doing that stealing. It said, for everyone that stealeth shall be cut off. And you Edomites, you're getting cut off, man. Your stuff getting cut short. And these chariots, they're gonna help usher that in. That's why they made these little videos talking about all these different articles talking about this group, they're a hate group. All these people, they anti-Semitic. Well, if you want to go down the lineage, the one people call Jesus, which his name in the Hebrew is Yahushua, go back to the line of Shem, which is not Sim. You go back to the line of Shem ultimately, and you trace it all the way down from the lineage of the house of David. Because David was from the tribe of Judah, and Yahushua was from the tribe of Judah. So, if you're going to be speaking on his behalf, how in the fuck do you be anti-Semitic? But that's the little stuff they want to put out there to try to distort the truth. Well, they can't distort the truth, man. They just, if anything, they just magnifying it. Like recently, they put that name in the news. They could have put another name in there. They could have been Ahaya, Yeshua, Yahweh, or any other name in there. They put that name Yahushua in the news because you know why? Because Yahushua means the deliverer, and that's what's going to happen. He's going to deliver the elect when all this stuff happens. Now, that's another scripture I want to go into. I want to say it's in chapter 6, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, right in chapter 6, in Zechariah chapter 6, verse 1. It says, And I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, there came 4 chariots, which, like the other scripture said in the book of Psalms, the chariots of the Lord. It says there came 4 chariots out from between the 2 mountains, and the mountains were mountains of brass. Now, when you look at this, what does it look like? And they seeing this right now, man. That's why they rushing and scrambling around, launching shit up with the SpaceX and standing up all these different weapons up into space, different satellites. That's another scripture I want to go into with Mount Sinai. About Mount Sinai, I should say. Okay, and this goes back to why we have a mediator as well also. Because people be like, well, I go directly to God. No, the hell they don't. Because our people tried it before and they got scared. Now in the book of Exodus, chapter 19 and verse 11, I'm going to just read on down through this. It says, let me go back up to the main point. It says, and be ready against the third day. And when you look up at the numerology of the number 3, it just go back into the understanding. It says, for the third day, the Lord Yahweh will come down in the sight of all people upon Mount Sinai. So they had to cleanse themselves, they had to prepare themselves. It says, and thou shalt set bounds unto the people round about, saying, take heed to yourselves that you go not up into the mount, or touch the border of it. Whosoever touches the mount shall be surely put to death. And that don't sound like, oh, God love everybody. That don't sound like that shit pastors and should be preaching either. If anybody was to go past that mark or touch a certain point, they was gonna get that judgment. So when people, another thing, when people say only God can judge me, hey, you better hope somebody else warn you before the Most High get to you, because when He get to you, ain't gonna be no little extra little, no little playouts, unless He have mercy on you. Your judgment gonna come down, and you're gonna actually feel it. But anyway, it says in verse 13, it says, there should not a hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through, whether it be beast or man, it shall not live. When the trumpet soundeth long, it shall come up to the mount. It says, and Moses went down from the mount unto the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And even then, our people was mad then at that time because, Moses was able to go up there. And they wanted to go up there. They was like, well, hey, Moses, how you get to go up there? Basically, we want to go up there too. So when he came in that huge chariot over that mountain, their whole mentality changed. It says, and he said unto the people, be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives, which means don't have sex with your wives. It's when you release that semen, you're basically unclean, really. And that goes into another law in the book of Leviticus, but I ain't gonna bring that out right now. But it's in verse 16. It says, and it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightning and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. So all you people that be like, oh, I go directly to the Most High, God told me this. No, the fuck He didn't. Hey, it's an order in the heavens. You got the Most High, you got His Son, and you got the angels. It's a chain of command. They bring it down to where we at. Ain't no direct, none of that. Now, ultimately, yeah, of course, He do get the final say-so, but it's still a chain of command. And this right here was a prime example of why He needed that chain of command, because most people, they was going to bug out seeing how Yahweh was going to come when He wanted to come. And it says, read on some more, it says, and Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with Yahweh, and they stood at the neither part of the mountain. They ain't even want to go up near the mountain. That's how scared they was. In verse 18, it says, that Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in a fire, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. So, man, they weren't trying to go over there. But see, He chose Moses to actually go up there and had a spirit on him to be able to be that mediator at the time. And read on in verse 19, it says, and when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and Yahweh answered him by a voice. And read on some more, it says, and the Lord Yahweh came down upon Mount Sinai. It says came down. That's what was happening at the time. It was a ship. That's how you look at these videos and you see different stuff like this flying around out there. And I'm going to show another video too after this. It says, and the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mount. And the Lord called Moses. I'm about to say Masha. That's just how you say Moses in the Hebrew. But it says, and the Lord called Moses up to the top of the mount, and Moses went up. And basically, that's how he was giving them the laws and stuff like that, because he was going back and forth to Yahweh while that chariot is right there, and that produced a lot of energy. When you read on in the book of Ezekiel how the angels appear, how the ships move, and why his face was glowing like that. All that wisdom he got. But let me go to it. And even now, you other Akim, man, I'm sure you probably experience it too when you be out in public. People see you and they be like, you just got this glow about you, why your face shining like that. This why, man. It's in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8, verse 1. It says, who is as a wise man, and who knows the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. That's why some people may look at you and they be like, why you got this look on your face, or why your face shining like that? That's why even when you look at some of the old images of, you might see pictures of Peter or Paul or John and all these different little images, and they had this light around them. This is why. Because that wisdom. And what you put in, it come out. Same way with food, water. So if you increasing your knowledge and your wisdom, it's gonna cause some type of glow. And I was looking at another article about this, about how certain information that you intake, it produce like some type of, they try to break it down to science, some type of chemical in your body to make you glow. So, ultimately it's Yahweh Shah putting that spirit on certain people to make you glow. And that's just what it is, because he the one that gives wisdom, as it is written. Now I'm going to go to the book of Ezekiel. Better yet, before I go to Ezekiel, I want to say it's in the book of Isaiah or Daniel. That's one of them, if I ain't mistaken. Yeah, the book of Daniel. Now, this is another description of how Yahweh looked. It's in the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 9. It says, and he gave visions to these different prophets to see this stuff. That you have people like, well, maybe they were just dreaming of it. Maybe they really ain't see that. It's just their perception. Like, no. They was actually seeing this and they documented it. Just like today, you see how Hakim, they'll have certain dreams and visions and write stuff down that they see in the book or whatever, and then compare it to the scriptures. And that's what you're really supposed to do. But some stuff you might dream about, it don't really, have no significant meaning, but then there's certain stuff that got a meaning to it. But anyway, it says in the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 9, it says, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, and the Ancient of Days is Yahweh. It says, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. And the wheels is talking about the chariots. And I'm going to go into that in the book of Ezekiel. I'm going to read some more. I'm going to go to verse 10 real quick, just for edification's sake. It's in verse 10. It says, a fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, talking about the angels. It says, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were open. And when it's all said and done, you better hope your name written in that book of life. I brought this out my name in there, because them the people that's going to get up out of here when all this stuff really hit the fan. Go to the book of Ezekiel. Better yet, hold on 1 minute. Before I go to the book of Ezekiel, go back to this. Because you got different. I'm going to just skip through this a little bit and just show what it was actually seeing out there. This what NASA recorded, man. They catching it up there. And they shut down the feed. Here goes some more advertisement on here. You already got to have them advertisement shit. Yeah, some other Edomite running for president, man. And these ships, they be huge, man. And they actually look like actual light. Some of them might be blinking red, some might be blue, purple, green. That's a barrel. Mentioned in the book of Ezekiel. They come in different shapes. They might be shaped like a wheel. I'm going to read this in the book of Numbers, chapter 14, verse 14. It says, and they will tell it to the inhabitants of this land, for they have heard that the Lord Yahweh art among this people. And that's how people gonna know. Because right now people don't really see it. Now you can tell people, yeah, we the chosen people of the Most High. You can tell them the names and all this stuff. You can go down the history and so on and so on. They ain't really gonna believe it till they start seeing people get beaten up in them ships. And they actually see Yahweh Shah standing up on that ship. That's when then they gonna really believe it. It's gonna be too late then, but they gonna believe it then. But reading on, it says that thou Lord art seen face to face, and that thy cloud standeth over them, and that thou goest before them by daytime in a pillar of a cloud, and a pillar of fire by night. And that's exactly what was happening when our people was leaving out of Egypt. Because traveling through that desert, and they're going out there in the wilderness, and they ain't have no light, different stuff like that to travel. And then traveling through that desert, they ain't have no trees or no shade, so that chariot was covering them as well as guiding them. Let me read on some more. And the rest of this, I was just looking at it, but we're going to read the rest of the book of Numbers. It just basically goes in talking about how Moses spoke on our behalf, just like what Yahweh Shah do up in the heavens, speak on our behalf when we pray. We say, name Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah, in the name of, and basically talking about the deliverer, because he the one that take them prayers up and talk to his Abba, which is our Abba too, and let them know, like, hey, they asking for this, or they going through this, and so on and so on. And basically, Moses did the same thing, because it was going to be a point to where the Most High was going to wipe out Israel. And on the behalf of Israel, Moses spoke. And it says, if you kill this people as one man, the nations who have heard of your fame will say, because the Lord was unable to bring his people into the land he swore to give them, he has slaughtered them in the wilderness. And you read on to verse 17. It says, and now I beseech thee, let the power of my Lord Yahweh be great, according as thou hast spoken, saying, the Lord is slow to anger and abounding in love and devotion, forgiving wrongdoing and rebellion. but he will by no means leave the guilty unpunished. He visits the iniquity of the fathers upon their children to the third and fourth generation, and that goes into reincarnation, because like the book of Ecclesiastes say, there's no new thing under the sun. So that's like you see some people, they might come back, they might die as a baby, they might be born with a missing arm or certain other ailments, might be born blind, might be born with no feet. Hey man, the list goes on. The most I can jack you up just for your judgment for whatever you did in your past life. That's why I say by the third and the fourth generation. So he might not get you on this go round. He'll get you when you come back. Let me read that one more time. Say, the Lord Yahweh is long suffering and of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression, and by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children until the third and fourth generation. And the reason being, because just say, okay, I have a son. And my great-grandfathers and my great-great-grandfathers already dead already. They could come back through my son or through my son's son. And whatever they did in their past life, they have to play their judgment out once they come back. And that's how it goes for everybody. You know, some people, they can't understand that concept or whatever. They can't understand it, man. It's plain as day. It's like the scripture say, plain to the holy, stumbling blocks to the wicked. So I'm going to read on some more in the book of Ezekiel. Let me see what verse I'm going to start at. All right, this is what I'm starting. I'm gonna just read through it. I'm gonna just end this off as I read this chapter. You know, in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 5, it says, "Also from within it came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man, not no gray, not no reptilian, or none of the other bullshit they put in the media." And better yet, I'm gonna go back to verse 4. I'm gonna read this one. Go into it some more. It says, "And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and the brightness was about it. And out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire." And from the color of amber, let me go to it real quick. Something like this. Which sometimes, if you look up in the sky, you might think you're looking at a star or something. It's just a chariot just sitting up there, just watching over everything, with angels in it. And they'll be exactly this color. Well, let me read on some more. In verse 7, this is where it gets more into detail. It says in verse 7, it says, I'm just skipping around a little bit too. I'm trying to read the full thing. I just want to get to the main points of how the vehicles look, how they travel. But it says, "And their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass." Oh, who else got feet like burnished brass? Let's go to that real quick. just for edification's sake. Oh, but color don't matter though. It's in the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 15. It says, "And his feet like unto fine brass, as if it had burned in the furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters." Now, who that look like and who that sound like that? Don't Edomite sound like that. Don't know Edomite look like that, man. Cut the bullshit out. Let me pull up some scriptures about it. Brass burning in the furnace. And it's wild that when I typed it in, this what popped up right here. I wasn't looking for this, but this what popped up. I just typed in burn brass, and then go right here. It got this part of the scripture right here. It says, "And his feet are not likened to burn brass, implying darkness, but to fine brass." 'Cause you know these Edomites, they hate the fact that the Lord is a dark skinned man. Hey, but they gonna have to taste the what they say, what that phrase they like to say, they gonna have to smell the coffee, cause when they sin, that's why the scripture say man's heart failing them for fear the things coming upon the earth. Cause ultimately you Edomites, y'all gonna be blacking out and have like seizures and shit. You see dark skinned angels, see Yahweh Shah being a dark skinned man with them chariots. Yeah, I'm gonna read on some more. Let me see how they twist it up. It says, implying the brilliancy of burnished copper when shines to a bright glow. Divine beings, scripture reveals, glow brightly with faces that shine like the noonday sun. But that's not scripture, man. That's not what it says. I'm gonna read on and go into what it actually says after I find this picture. Because if you burn brass like a penny, it got that brown texture. Like, matter of fact, you got one right here. Perfect example. Most of our people, we put some cocoa butter on, it look just like that. These fucking devils say they want to twist stuff up and try to, oh, it just glows like that. It's glowing like brass when you burn it. Even if you get some brass, now of course it turned that little hot looking red. It ain't even really like a red looking color. Salaki, let me correct myself. It just have that heated looking texture, but you can still see the brown hue in there if you know about burning metals or melting gold or silver and stuff like that. I'm reading on though. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 8. It says, "And they had the hands of a man under their wings on the four sides." Now I know, like right here, it clearly says hands of a man, not no reptilians, none of this other shit that they talking about coming. And I want to get to this other part. We'll talk about them looking like coals that burn in the fire. Because if they was just glowing, looking divinely, let me go back to that, what it's saying here. That's not what it's saying in the scripture. That's some private interpretation. It says, "And his feet are not likened to burnt brass," but the scriptures clearly say that. They say his feet. Let me go back to that one more time. That's why it's good to read this, man. In the book of Revelation, clearly say, "Blessed is he who readeth." Because you got to read this and understand, man. And ultimately, Yahweh Shem Shah got to put the spirit on you to fully understand this. Because if not, you're going to be butchering it, coming up with your own emotional translation and all that. Now, this right here, what it say? It says his feet are not likened to burnt brass, implying darkness. Now, why would they even say that shit? Because they don't want the Lord to be dark skinned. That's all it is. But it clearly says in the scriptures and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in the furnace. But they gonna put this shit out here and says, not implying to darkness. Get the fuck out of here. But that's what they want to do, man. They hate us that much because they know the beauty it is to be us, man. They know the blessings that we about to receive. I know this video going on a little longer than what I wanted it, but it ain't about what I want. I just want to get this information out because I seen these videos posted online. I'm like, okay, more and more ships being seen. It's just going to escalate. You might be in the middle of your day downtown eating lunch or something, or going to get dinner with your family, and you look outside and see a big chariot sitting over the city. Now, that's in the book of Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 12. And it says, and they went every one straight forward, which is talking about the angels. It said whether the spirit was to go, because the vehicles are spiritual vehicles. They're not powered by no gas or no solar panels or none of the other shit. It said whether the spirit was to go, they went, and they turned not when they went. And that's why NASA and any other little space agency, they can't duplicate this vehicle. Even though they try to lie and say, oh, aliens crashed at Roswell, New Mexico, and all this shit, and they reverse engineers and stuff. It's bullshit. But back to this dark skin hue, because they hate the darkness. No, it says in the book of Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 13, it says as for the living creatures, as for the likeness, not the unlikeness, like how they put on here. It says, as for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire. Not like coals when you burn it and it light up a little bit and it got that glow. No, it says the appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps. It went up and down among the living creatures. And the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning. Now, we go to burning coals, and I'm going to just end this off with this. And if you got coals that's burning, how I look in the center of it? It look dark to me. And that's what they gonna see, man, when these angels show up. The thing that they hate the most, they're gonna have to face the most. So, let me play this last little video real quick. How these people is running. That's how people gonna be, man, when they see these ships showing up. Let's skip this little advertisement. Look how these people run when this ship shuttled over them like that. How they just boating out. They know what the hell was going on. They running the ship. And this is going to be more and more like that. And it's going to come to a point they're not even going to really cloak themselves like that. Because they be around all the time anyway. They just cloak themselves amongst the clouds. Sometimes they be invisible. So you can't really see them. Because you can look at a cloud and it might be shaped exactly like a chariot. That's because that's what it is. And sometimes you won't see them at all. Or they might disguise themselves as stars or whatever out there in space. And that's what people got to look forward to, man. And that's what's coming. So Lord's willing, this is edifying. Call of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And the chariots of the Lord, the angels, they're going to deliver the elect from the four corners of the earth, as it is written. Shalom.